Oh, I had to do like the creepy ghost whale. Does that work? Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again uh, for us to dive into the world of creepy stuff and cryptids. And I'm tired. So let's bring on somebody that knows what they're talking about because he did all the research. I'm just here to look pretty. Here he is, the Bruce.
What's going on, ladies and gents? You are you are handling your job swimmingly. You're looking pretty good. You're looking younger. What did you do? Something different to your hair?
I brushed it.
Oh, right on, right
So,
on.
that
That'll
way,
do that.
it was lay down nice.
Yeah, that'll do that. That'll.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So how was everybody's week? How was your week, David?
It's exhausting.
Your week? It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't work on Mondays, so I'm off.
Oh, so yesterday was your Monday.
No, it was still Tuesday.
Oh.
It was still Tuesday. Sorry, that's a trigger thing for me.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's like, oh, it like we have a few people that flip schedules. Like some of us work Tuesday through Friday, some work Monday through Thursday. And every Thursday, I got to hear all these people. It's my Friday. It's my Friday. No, it's still Thursday.
It's still
if it
Thursday.
Was your Friday,
you
you'd be home. I don't know. It's just, I've always liked to argue with people about that. I always thought that
today
was
today, as normal, it's the Mondayest Tuesday of the week. Is that safe? Is that a safe bet to say?
Holy crap, dude! You just blew my mind.
What do you mean? It's like the Mondayest Tuesday.
Dude, this is a cigarette, okay? It's not what you're thinking to get me into that mode to think stuff like that. So, yeah. What? I need alcohol for that.
No, I'm sure people that are tuning in or will tune in, I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. You haven't always. I know you haven't always been off on Mondays, so you know how it is. Dude, I've had a string of Mondays, if that makes any sense at all.
Well, especially since today's Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, GM,
they kept saying the Monday is Tuesday, and I'm like, wait, today's Wednesday. You got me all screwed up, man.
I meant yesterday. I meant yesterday. So, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not to anybody on here, but, and if you haven't been paying attention to the news, GM and Ford and Chrysler, they're all pretty much on strike. So I sell parts. I'm a parts consultant by day, werewolf by night. Oh, fight me, Disney. So you can't get parts anywhere. It's so difficult to find parts. Today was a decent day because we were able to unload some parts that we've been sitting on for a few years, just waiting on the right customer to come in to need that part. So, we were able to facilitate some sale of a few parts and help a couple other dealers out. So, yeah, that's good. But like, we were averaging a pretty good amount of sales at the first part of the day, and then 2 weeks ago, everything just kind of crapped the bed. So on the 22nd, that's when the strike went into full effect. So 'twas a Friday. I remember it well. I got home from work and got a text message from my boss. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, those of you that wondering what the hell we're talking about and all, why we ain't talking about creepy stuff, we decided to burn a couple of minutes to try to let a few people get in here and learn, to kind of grow the audience a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
if
it
it's
helps
working
us.
or not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's working or not, but it helps us kind of, if there's any kind of jitters, which there shouldn't be at this point. 7 episodes in, so
yeah, and this has actually been like the cryptid and creepy stuff series on my YouTube channels. One of the most rewatched videos outside of my actual wrestling stuff. So
yeah, well, you've got a lot more followers than I've got, and so they like you. I'm glad they're watching our stuff in general.
Right.
My name's Bruce. People,
Yeah,
I'm not that hard to find. Go follow.
Well, like right now, 3 of the people that are watching on my personal YouTube channel.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we've got on your page, and did you go change your settings on your Facebook page?
I did. I did.
Okay.
My YouTube or Facebook. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, because
I totally did.
Sometimes Bruce forgets, and you comment on Bruce's stuff, and we don't get it because
look. I think that's why people
have it set public.
I think that's why people stopped commenting and stopped even watching on my socials because Bruce just forgot. No comment.
Actually, right now, majority of the viewers we have right now are on your personal Facebook. So,
oh wow,
that's interesting.
Yeah, very,
they don't
very
like
interesting. Do what?
Oh, they don't like me as much. Somebody just switched to mine.
No.
But all right, so we about ready to get cranking into this thing.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 7. We are going to cover another Arkansas legend. This one is called the Gowrow. Is that how you say it? Gowrow?
I hope that's how you say it, because I've been kind of dropping the W on go and just calling it Gowrow, but I think it's Gowrow.
That's the same thing. Gowrow? Is it Gowrow or Gowrow?
Well, I don't know. So let me pull up a excuse me. Let me pull up a map here of Arkansas real quick, and I'm going to show you guys just about the hot spots for these things.
Oh, I forgot.
Hey, you see my wife's pretty elbow right there? Isn't it beautiful? Say it's beautiful.
No.
Okay, so here so here's the map. That spot down at the bottom, that's around Devil's Den National Park. I got my cursor over it, but they can't see that. So
no, we don't see anything.
The one almost diagonal from or horizontal from Little Rock in the dead center, the one on the very bottom, that's the one in the Devil's Rock, Devil's Hole in Boone County. Then you go up north to that one that's directly above that one, and I believe that's the Mena encounters in Polk County.
Oh wow! And then, okay, that's close to where my mom lives.
Yeah. So then you go over to your right, and that one right there, that is the Blanco Marshall in Calf Creek Township in Searcy County.
Okay.
So
that's crazy. I used to work all around the Mena area.
Yeah, not a really super huge area of operation, but there's 3 different locations. So a lot of people think that that this may be more than just one creature. If it was just one dude running around, he'd have to have some legs on him because that distance alone is upwards into the 600-700 miles area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, the first major documentation of this creature's existence is a story that appeared in the Arkansas Gazette on January 31st of 1897. So this was, I don't know exactly how many years. Actually, I believe Arkansas became a state. Can somebody in the comments hit me up on the actual year? I'm not sure if we even have anybody commenting.
I haven't seen anything yet. The dog was trying to tell you. We just don't speak their language. So,
okay, so well, who said that?
Sleazy.
Was it really?
That's what he put on there, 1734. Now you never know with him though if he just throwing a number out there or not.
All right, I'm gonna shoot it on the Googs real quick. Sleazeball, nothing against you, brother, but I've been messaged about. I've been messaged a time or two about possible false information, so I'm just gonna put in. I'm just gonna Google when did Arkansas become a state. Oh wow. Okay, so it says here Arkansas became a state June 15th, 1836.
Okay, yeah, he just commented saying he was playing a joke.
Oh, okay. So Arkansas became the 25th state in 1836. So 1897, that's 60 years.
Yeah, but this is also the first documented.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So 60 years is plenty enough time for that. And it's a whole generation, really. People that were alive in 36 probably were really old. And yeah, you were close. I'll give you that.
That's a good guess.
yeah, real good guess. I love it. So in an article in the Arkansas Gazette, apparently written by Elbert Smithy. So Elmer Burris provided an illustration allegedly based on a photograph that accompanied the piece. And this is that article. They called it the Green Gowrow killed in Searcy County.
Wait,
here's that's what it said, killed in Searcy County. And there's a zoomed in kind of picture of it. Looks like it's got a row of spikes on its back and some big old tusks and claws. Man, those claws look like they're just comically out of proportion.
Yeah, and it got walrus teeth. What the?
Yeah. It looked like a sickle on its tail. But this thing, a prominent. Okay, so that drawing was provided by Elmer Burris.
Yeah.
And Fred W. Alsop, who edited the Gazette at the time, recounted the circumstances that led to Smithy's story. So, William Miller, a Little Rock businessman who had been traveling in the Ozarks of northwest Arkansas, told Smithy of a horrible monster known as the Gowrow. Miller reported that he'd been passing through the tiny town of Blanco in Calf Creek Township, Searcy County, on business when he heard the locals talking about the slaughtering of their pets and livestock. Miller formed a posse, and in 1897, they tracked the creature to its supposed lair. They found a cave nearing both Blanco and Marshall that was littered with animal skeletons and reportedly what even appeared to be human remains. The posse waited to ambush the monster, but then they heard something emerging from a nearby lake. It caused the earth to tremble as it made its way toward them. The creature emitted an eerie guttural scream sounding like as it as it made its way
Sorry.
towards the men, and this sound is where the creature got its name. After a long tussle where it uprooted trees, killed several horses, and tore a man's leg off, Miller's group managed to kill the creature and examined its remains. You're gonna have to watch back to get that rendition of a guttural sounding scream where the creature got its name. Thanks, I like that.
That's just
our production.
I don't know.
Our production value is just that sleazy, on point.
I'm kind of it borderlines a cryptid, but also a tall tale type scenario.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was thinking too. Like this dude just, but I mean, they did say he was a businessman from Little Rock, and back then and even now, businessmen do not lie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, just I said it on the internet, guys. That means it's true. So, dude comes into this town, and he, they're like, "Oh, a monster has been killing our livestock and our animals." Dang it!
I'm old and tired. Okay, don't judge me.
Those things are contagious. But yeah, the dude comes into the town, coming through town, and let's say he stops at the local 1897, probably a watering hole, like a saloon, or I guess I'm getting my times up. I don't know when the Wild West was, so our timeline's all jacked up. Anyways, so he goes in there and then hears people talking about this creature that's been killing their livestock and their animals and junk, and their pets. So he's like, I'm a businessman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather a posse up. Gets his posse together and they track this thing down. That's actually where we get our description of the creature from when they examined its remains. But we're going to next up, we're going to talk about a gentleman. We'll get into the description of this creature in a minute. David, go ahead and tell us about our next little sighting.
Okay, we're going to talk about Vance Randolph. Okay, Vance Randolph was a Ozark researcher and folklorist who recorded some of the state's oldest "in quote" monster legends in his early writings. He found evidence of the Gowrow, and that's how I'm going to say it. Gowrow.
I like that. Gowrow
sighting that was dated earlier than Miller's encounter in 1897. The evidence that Randolph found was of more possible sightings in the early 1880s. I think I lost something. Okay. So yeah, he supposedly found more sightings in the 1880s. Let's see. Do we have that?
Yeah, it's the Randolph case.
Oh, okay. I didn't have a date on it, so that's why I was making sure. Randolph also told a story of an encounter with a Gowrow by a spelunker exploring Devil's Hole. That could almost be taken wrong.
Yeah.
This earlier account states that E.J. Rhodes owned a place called Devil's Hole near Boone County, Arkansas. He decided to explore the fissure to see how deep it went and what was within.
Is there something trying to come in?
No, we've been having a lot of tree limbs, little small limbs.
Oh, I was fixing to say.
I thought Fred might have been coming in because I forgot my drink, and I was like, maybe.
I was fixing to say, David, look out! It's a Gowrow.
All right, where to go? All right, so with the help of several people, About 200 feet down, Rhodes encountered a shelving ledge and nearby a funnel-like opening that led to another chamber below. He descended to 300 feet into the chamber, but it was too dark to determine the extent of it, and fearing that noxious gases were present, Rhodes was forced to ascend. In an attempt to see how deep the hole went, Rhodes and his men lowered a line with a piece of iron at the end. A hissing noise echoed up when the rope was pulled up, the metal was bent. The team used rocks for three subsequent attempts, but the line was bitten clean through each time. Some people thought it was an Indian spirit, but most suspect it was the Gowrow. Well, I can't talk tonight. The cave is the exact location that Miller killed the Gowrow years later when people could finally enter the cave. Ugh.
Wow. Okay,
You,
so Miller saw this thing in 1897, but then around the 1880s, this dude Randolph was interacting with this thing on his
yeah,
own on his land.
it was suspected that it was living in this cave that he owned. You know,
Wow.
which I mean, caves always have a lot of mystery and lore about them.
Well,
Because like anytime you see anything about a monster, they live in a cave somewhere.
well, I
So
mean,
easily.
that's the thing. There's the cave systems on this planet. They just go and go and go, and they could literally be anywhere.
Yeah, there ain't no way in
Um,
hell I'm claustrophobic. So,
no, I would love to go spelunking in a cave.
bye.
Uh,
Hell no. Hell no. I've
so,
watched The Descent.
oh,
Okay.
dude, I loved that movie. I loved it. That was a classic.
That movie scared me more than any other horror movie just because I'm terrified of tight spaces. Nope.
Well, what was the cool thing about that? And little spoiler alerts here for those that have never seen that movie that came out like probably 15 or so years ago. Uh, they were all cave divers that got lost and like just evolved like into creatures.
Yep. Nope. Absolutely not.
Oh man,
I'm running from little scary things that go bump in the night. So off in the freaking thing. Hey, here you go. You got a volunteer. He
heck
said he'd
yeah,
go with
that's what
you.
I'm talking about.
Y'all have fun. Bye bye. Y'all go to the go take a climb in the devil's hole. That sounded bad.
Climb into the devil's hole.
We are grown adults around here, people.
Dick and fart
All
jokes.
right. You want to go ahead and hit on the next little point?
Well, I was gonna read this little. There's an artist rendition of
Oh yeah.
the Gowrow, basically with the little thing from 1897. The Arkansas Gazette reports that William Miller, a Little Rock businessman, formed a posse to hunt a vicious creature terrorizing Searcy County in northern Arkansas. The beast, known as the Gowrow, is slaughtering pets and livestock, but soon it's discovered it's been killing people as well. The creature is a 20-foot reptile with tusks, clawed, webbed feet, a row of spikes down its back, and a blade-tipped tail. The posse tracked the monster to a cave littered with animal and human bones. Suddenly, the beast emerges from a nearby lake. The men attack and kill the creature, but not before it downs several trees and rips the leg from one man. The Gowrow's remains are sent to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., but the prestigious center claims the body never arrived. Interesting.
Saying
Several.
that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying though. They're saying that they sent it to the Smithsonian, but Smithsonian saying they never got anything.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
that was what
what's
I was
that
about
term?
to
What's that
say.
term? Like they got the game show about snake oil type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah,
conning
snake
people
oil.
to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
money. They're
Well,
basically That's what it comes across as.
Well, I take a wholly different take on it. Like I go down the conspiracy alley.
Of course you do.
Well, there's been several things over the years that's been discovered that have been in newspapers, that have been in news articles and different things of that nature. And these things were supposedly sent to the Smithsonian for more research and for verification. And then all of a sudden, the agent that worked for the Smithsonian never existed. They never received any documentation or any remains or any artifacts or anything. I think something's going on in the Smithsonian, and I honestly believe that the Smithsonian's basement is a lot bigger than they would have us to believe. But this guy Randolph, I'll just segue back to the story. This guy Randolph, he also told of a man from Mena in Polk County who claimed to have captured a Gowrow by tricking the creature into eating a wagon load of dried apples, so that when the apples swelled to a size that prevented it from escaping into its burrow.
They fatten the damn thing up.
Yeah. The Gowrow's captor was exhibiting his catch to anyone who would pay a quarter. In 1897, a quarter was, it was a lot of money.
That's a down payment on a house.
really, in a lot of ways, it could have been. Once he had a sufficient audience, while they waited, the audience looked at a painting of another Gowrow, or a painting that was depicting a Gowrow devouring a family of cotton farmers. Before the showing could start, a horrific roaring sound went up, followed by several shots of a gun and the clanking of chains. The showman, injured, staggered onto the stage, shouting, "Run for your lives, the Gowrow broke loose." The back tent would collapse, and thunderous roars echoed with rattling chains, and the spectators rushed away in panic, not stopping to get their money back, obviously. So throughout the 19th century, Gowrow showings popped up all over the place. Individuals usually only related a single incident, but it's likely that more than one Gowrow escape showing occurred.
See, this goes back along with what I was talking about. Is it's more of a,
snake oil.
It's more of a crackpot thing.
Yeah, just
people
selling,
trying to con people out of money.
Just selling mystery and mystique, and just trying to collect a dollar.
Because fear is a heavy motivator on stuff.
Oh, like that, it really is. It most definitely is.
I mean, this is almost coming across as just a bunch. I don't do this on that.
Well, I would say that. Yeah, well, I would say that about possibly this guy. What's his name? Randolph. Randolph, the Ozark researcher and folklorist. Everything that I found on this guy said that he was basically a charlatan. He would go into a place and he would basically just con people into doing things and saying things, and a lot of the stories that he wrote down in his book when he was doing the folklore books and stuff, they were heavily embellished. Being 60 years into Arkansas being a state and wanting people to come into the state, you embellish a little bit, and you try to build your state up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this guy Vance Randolph, which is crazy. He died in 1980. So,
he was almost 100 years old.
Yeah. But I'm kind of apt to believe this William Miller's story, because there were other people involved in this posse. Now I couldn't find any eyewitness reports other than William Miller, and only from the Arkansas Gazette. article that was there. But you know, it almost borders on sensationalism, like well, like they did with Whitey on the White River, you know, to try to bolster tourism, like they do down in Folk with the
folk monster,
with the folk
and then a
monster.
lot of places over in Oklahoma with Bigfoot and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and it's, you know, and everybody wants to bring in commerce to their town, but I mean, at the risk of you know, making people look dumb.
yeah.
So now the description of this beast, and I already sort of read it, but Randolph said his sources suggested that the Gowrow was a species of creature rather than a singular monster. The Gowrow is described as a huge dragon-like monster, and other accounts describe it as a lizard-like animal. So, you know, lizard, dragon. They've got scales and they're big.
Gator.
Yeah, with enormous tusks. They have short legs with webbed feet, similar to a duck's feet, which is weird. That's what that picture is. Why it's got so big, comical looking feet. Except that the Gowrow's toes each have a thick claw.
So it's almost like a long lost dinosaur, is what it sounds like.
Well, yeah, that's I mean, that's kind of what I was taking from it as well. They're green and have thick scales, and their backs are bristled with short horn-like spikes. The Gowrow also have thin, long tails with sharp grove-like formations, so the tail can be used like a sickle. Gowrow are said to be carnivorous and prey upon goats, deer, calves, sheep, and possibly even humans.
Okay, hold on just a second now. This sounds like, description wise, like almost like, you know, because you said, you know, different animals and stuff, like a larger version of more famous cryptid, chupacabra.
Right, right. Well, I mean, if you look at the picture, let me pull this bad boy up real quick. If you look at the picture, you know, it almost kind of resembles a chupacabra, only a
Well, you know,
lot bigger.
the traditional, you know, more glorified version of chupacabra.
Yeah,
You know, because I've seen versions of it where it looks just like a weird looking dog and shit. You know, but
yeah. So have
like
I.
but yeah, that's honestly the first thing that comes to mind though is like an overgrown version of it. You
Yeah.
know, so here we go. We're gonna connect the dots. What if the Gowrow and the chupacabra is just a juvenile version of the Gowrow?
That could be a
Heard it here
thing.
first, people.
Hey, if y'all scientists figure that out, this is going down in perpetuity or It's going down on the interwebs, so that means it's going to be here forever. If the Gowrow is the mommy or the daddy of the chupacabra, David said it first.
Well,
royalties, people, royalties.
And then we get into a little bit talking about, you know, how they're born. They're supposedly hatched from soft shell eggs, but they're as big as beer kegs.
Holy crap!
And the mother carries the newly hatched infants in her pouch, so almost like a marsupial.
Yeah. The first thing I thought of was, well, a platypus, you know, because it looks like a mammal, but it lays eggs.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, except you got beaver tail.
Oh yeah, much bigger. And one other thing, where would these eggs hide? Like,
right,
where would they lay these eggs if they're that damn big? You know, they would have to hide them in the caves.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it makes sense, you know, for the cave dwelling, you know, but I mean, you know, been reported to live in caverns and under rock ledges, and that's where apparently they spend most of their time. But if you go back to the original story and all, it came out of the lake.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a a full blown reptilian style animal here. But no matter what we talk about, no matter what the source and all, the consistent thing with all the descriptions is it's freaking big.
Yeah, just the
The
sheer
size
size of
is
this thing.
always the main go to.
Well, it's almost like the absolute very first documented UFO sighting. 90% of your UFO sightings have. Speaking of that, Arkansas has had its fair share of UFO encounters and sightings. So look for probably a
Maybe a season
mid-season,
finale.
maybe a season finale, just going all out with
Because
every
I think we
every
only have
documented episode.
for the season of Arkansas. I think we only have right now 2 episodes lined out.
Yeah, two legit
So
episodes lined out. So that might be
like a
our
season
season
finale
finale.
thing before we move on to a different location.
Yeah, yeah. So creatures such as the Gowrow abound in the folklore often associated with the frontier. People start moving into new areas and new territories, and creatures that animals in general that people have never seen before tend to scare and excite people.
Yeah.
When the Europeans first saw the bison. What is that?
Pipeline rupture in Jessieville.
Oh, let me see that picture. In where?
Jessieville.
There was a pipeline rupture in Jessieville. I'm trying
Oh,
to.
okay. See. Holy crap! Was it a Gowrow?
No, you see it better now?
Yeah.
It
Holy.
looks like the gates of hell is opening up. Anyways, so just like with every cryptid and creepy thing that we've seen or had documented so far, without a body or actual pictures, it's hard to say if the Gowrow is an existing cryptid. But honestly, I believe it is. I believe it is alive, and I believe it's living its best life down here in Arkansas. So, uh, there's been several different books written and things in other media. Our sources are encyclopediaofarkansas.net, onlyinyourstate.arkansas, and ualrpublicradio.org, Encyclopedia of Arkansas Minute. I want to show y'all guys an interesting thing I found. Just like how Whitey was in Harry Potter, the Gowrow has made it to a card game that's similar to Pokemon called MetaZoo. If anybody knows, that's the card back for MetaZoo, and it was in the UFO first edition. It was the fourth main set of cards released in July of 2022. There's a depiction of it, almost
It's the
looking like
wrong
a.
color.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think like they were embellishing. To me, it looks more like a Charizard with tusks. The only reason why I know what a Charizard is because all of my kids play Pokemon Go. Um, yeah, really weird.
No, I'm thinking I do too.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Pokemon came out when we were both kids, and I just didn't. I was one of those guys that didn't get bitten by the Pokemon bug.
Yeah, I didn't either. I just like the game. I
Oh,
don't
don't
know.
get me
It's
wrong. It's a
something to
it's a
do
cool
while I'm on my
game.
break at work.
What would be really super cool is if they made a game similar to that, but it was hunting cryptids.
They've got a couple of different versions. Like there's a Jurassic Park one. There's a Walking Dead one.
Oh,
There's
that's
a couple
cool.
of different ones, but they didn't get as popular as the Pokemon one. So.
All right, so now I'd like to tell I found a story of the Devil's Hole Cave, and this is in Boone County, Arkansas. So I will go ahead and tell this little story that I found in the northern part of the state in Boone County, and somewhere within the county is said to be a small village called Self. Although it's really hard to find on any map, this is reportedly a mysterious location um, of the Devil's Hole Cave. So near the village is the Devil's Hole Cave. It's a strange and unexplored cavern. One day, an indeterminate number of years ago, the owner of the land where the cave is located decided to check out the place. He climbed down a rope about 200 feet to a ledge where the shaft narrows to a point that can only be crawled through. He suddenly heard a vicious hissing sound from the darkness, perhaps like a large lizard would do, and he made a hasty retreat. Sometime later, he and some men from town dropped a flat iron tied to a rod to the same place in the cave. Now, a flat iron is basically exactly like a modern iron that you would iron your clothes with. It's just an iron shaped piece of metal with a handle on it. And what they would do is they would heat that up on the wood stove, and then that's how they would iron their clothes. So this thing, they dropped a flat iron down. When they pulled it back up, they found the flat iron had been badly bent and scored with scratches and teeth marks. So something was gnawing on this piece of iron. They next tried a stone. Do you need to go get a drink, bro?
No, we're actually pretty close to wrapping
Oh,
up,
yeah,
so it's
yeah,
not that
we're
big a
pretty
deal.
close. So the next they tried a stone, and the rope was pulled taut again. They pulled it back up, and the stone was gone. So they dropped a rock down there, tied to a rope, and it was almost like the rope got pulled, and then when they finally got the rope up, the rock was gone. No one wanted to dare climb down to see what it was in the cave, and occasionally local stories apparently came from the cave, but the Gowrow, as the natives supposedly called it, seems to prefer staying down in the darkness. The story dates back to around 1900, and many believe the monster may be some sort of giant lizard, but nobody knows for sure. The story closely resembles another pit of this type that is said to be located near Hannibal, Missouri. Uh, I can't find any existing records on that hole, the one in Hannibal, but I've heard a number of stories about it, and the tale of the landowner checking out the cave is also said to have occurred here also, with a bizarre twist. The Hannibal cave, the landowner discovered some friends shortly after his adventure in the cave. His hair had turned completely white, and he was wildly insane. Whatever he had encountered down in the cave had broke his sanity. I was on this website, and a visitor provided new information on the location of Self, Arkansas. So if any of you crazy cryptids and creeps decide to go and try to find your Gowrow, um, let's see here. If you look on a map and find Harrison, Arkansas, you will see State Highway 7. About 8 miles east of Harrison on Highway 7, there's a place where the railroad tracks intersect the highway. The town of Bergman is about a fourth of a mile east of this intersection. These tracks go northwest through Woodin Hills, Myrtle, and Self. The town of Self is about 15 miles up these tracks to the northwest. You can drive to Self by going up Highway 65 north of Harrison, about 12 to 15 miles, or about 3 miles past the town of Prosperity. There will be a small dirt or gravel road called Dubuque Road, and you can follow it to Self. So that is the that is really the extent of the Gowrow information that we have, or the information that I could find.
I
Everything else
really
was.
thought there would be a lot more on.
I did
that.
too. I did my best to try to find everything that I could, and once I found these once I found those 3 sightings, a lot of the research was really just rehashing stuff that I had already found.
Yeah.
This the same thing over and over again. I was really looking back into the early 1800s before Arkansas became a state, but a lot of that information just doesn't exist, or it's passed down generationally, and it's like the telephone game. By the time it gets to us, it's passed down through 100+ years, so there's no being able to figure it out if it's true or not, or what's true and what's not. So, but I think what we talked about was, if I'm not mistaken, we have 1 or 2 actual episodes, and then we're gonna have a third kind of just thrown together everything that was left that we could find. Now it's not, each season is not all encompassing. Obviously, if there's other cryptids and creepy stuff that's floating around Arkansas, or any state for that matter, if you know about it and we haven't touched on it, shoot us a message. Message one of our pages, one of our social medias, message the SDU networks, and be like, hey, could y'all guys cover an episode on this? And we'll do the research, and we'll get it up there. But
because I know we've got the next one will be a creepy thing.
Yeah,
and then we have one more cryptid to go over.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were talking about doing a episode on like the UFO sightings in Arkansas.
Yeah. I think we could do a whole episode on that, and that be our season finale.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to go. And then we'll probably take, a little bit of time off to kind of, to revamp and see where we want to go next with things. But yeah,
definitely do some research.
Definitely been a fun series to do.
Oh, for sure.
So, and
I hope
we got a lot more we can go through.
I hope the next state, and then the next state after that, is just as interesting and just as informative, because like doing the research on all these cryptids and creepy things in the state of Arkansas has been highly entertaining and educational. Not just the cryptid or the creepy thing, but just in general, and learning new things about the natural state, and it's where we live. So super cool.
Yep. All right. Well, people, those of you that watched it, appreciate you. Those of you that watch it after the fact, hey, share that stuff. Go follow all our stuff.
Yeah, if it's something, like I said before, if it's something that you're watching after the fact, and you know something, don't be shy, or don't feel like you can't contact us and say, hey guys, you got this part wrong. It was actually this, or we're not above coming back on and doing a slight part 2, and being
we're doing all this stuff by the seat of our pants. Okay.
Oh yeah,
we're
learning. Yeah, we're learning as well. This is just something that interested both of us, and it's something that we would that we enjoy doing, and it seems like for the most part that we get some people that are watching enjoy it, and I'd love to have people with experience in some of these places. That would be so cool.
Eventually,
to can say, hey, I've been there, and heck, hey, here's the link. Come on, give us your experience. Let us know live. And if you don't want to, there's a Gowrow sneaking up on you.
Just sitting here, and all of a sudden the door just goes.
Yeah, right.
Man, I wish you'd have brought that earlier. I forgot my drink in my bedroom. I was sitting there dying. You got here, and Debbie just commented. She got on here just in time for us to say, tomorrow night, watch Special Dummies Unit. You'll have this guy. Fred, put your face in the camera area. Right here.
There he is.
He is our own cryptid. So, but yeah, tune in tomorrow at 8:00. Special Dummies Unit, and next week Tuesday we got wrestling with ADHD. You got that all lined out?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night.
Stay creepy.